I am going to say that the title of this is How to Build a Fire in Your Belly, um, or in your heart. Years ago, I worked as a blacksmith at a National Historic Site, and um, one of the when I walked in the morning, the first thing I did was I would have to clean out the fire pot. The day before, you let the fire go out, and you like move some of this stuff out, and you let the fire go out, and that's the end of it. And the next day, you clean all the junk out. There's ashes and a clinker, which a clinker is all the metallic, all the impurities that end up being like metal or ceramic, but it's a big gob of garbage, and it's something that completely clogs up the fire. And but anyway, so you clean the whole fire pot out, you get all the ashes out, and you start building a new fire. And so after I would clean everything out and throw away the junk and keep the stuff that's reusable, I would go over to the other side of the building, and I would get some wood. And there was a I would get wood chips, just long little pieces of wood, like a whole bunch of uh, just little pieces of wood. And so then I would pile them in there, right, so that they were easy to work. And then I'd take some of the coal that had been coked, which means it's like popcorn almost, and I'd pile some of that in around it, and then I would light a match, and I would put the match underneath the wood, and it would start burning. And when it got going good, then I would grab the bellows and I'd slowly pull it down, and the fire would flare up, and it would be really cool. And so as long as I did everything right, then the fire would pop up, and it would be perfect, and everything would be ready to go. Start heating metal right away. But every once in a while, I would walk in there, and I swear I did exactly the same thing that I did the day before. But I would walk in there, and I would clean everything out, and I'd put the wood in, and I'd put the coke in, and I'd put a match to it, and I'd try to pump the bellows a little bit, and the fire would just go out. And I'd light another match, and I'd put it in there, and it would start to go a little bit, and I'd try to pump the bellows, and the fire would go out. And it was there. I had just done something so that the fire would not work. The fire was not possible, and so I'd have to take everything out of the fire pot again and start over. And I'd have to go over, and I'd have to make some more wood chips and bring them in, and I'd have to set them up, and then I would, like, there is this mythology that goes with blacksmithing. You'd have to invoke the gods by taking the hammer and hitting the anvil 3 times, and then put everything in the fire pot, do everything right again, and then put a match to it. And if I was really conscious when I did this, I'd put the match to it, and I would start pumping the bellows, and everything would work, and I'd have this great fire going. And it occurred to me when I was doing this that it's like a spiritual quest, that somehow or another I got complacent. And I didn't get complacent when I was building the fire. I got complacent 3 weeks ago, and I slowly managed to get to a place where it wasn't yesterday that I did it wrong. It was over a period of time that I slowly shaved off a little bit and a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, until I got to this place where there was absolutely no fire, that nothing in my life seemed to be working, that it just wasn't, as they say, there was no there anymore. And so I had to start over. And so part of the idea of building the fire is that yesterday's fire is full of old burnt stuff and clinkers and junk. It's like, and so at some point, people end up having to clean out their fire part. They have to start in some way from scratch. You get rid of all the junk. You keep the coke and the parts that are still usable, and but you have to start with new things, and you have to start with new ideas, and you have to figure out some way to get all of this stuff together. And I think a spiritual life is like that. You have to figure out the things that that work for you, the things that make your fire burn. You have to figure out that stuff. Um, I remember watching My Three Sons. If you're old, you might remember that television show. But Fred McMurray was talking to one of his sons about he had a date with a girl or something, and his son said, "Does she light your board?" And I think that somehow or another, you got to find people that light your board. You have to find things and ideas and books and music that light your board, things that really inspire you. And that's what you have to have in your life. And that's what makes the fire burn in your belly. That's what makes life worth living. And I think when people have a hard time getting their fire to burn, it's because they have too much in their life that really isn't burnable. They have things that don't make it's not air, it's not fuel, it's not there's too much in there that isn't doing it. And I think with a spiritual life, it doesn't go bad immediately. It takes some time. It's sort of like very few people get well anyway. So with that, I'll pass. It's good to. I just need to talk sometimes. So enough. Good luck building your fire.